morning, everyone. I'm joined by Police Commissioner Col Blanche, Tourism Minister Rita Safiotti and Police Minister Paul Papalia. We are here today to address the tragedy that's unfolded off Rottnest Island, Wajup. It is my sad duty to confirm that 3 lives were lost when a seaplane crashed moments after takeoff at Thompson Bay. The bodies of the 3 deceased were recovered from the wreckage by water police divers last night. The victims include a 65-year-old woman, a passenger who we understand was a Swiss tourist, a 60-year-old man, a passenger believed to be a tourist from Denmark, and a 34-year-old man who was the pilot who lived in Perth. My thoughts go out to the families and friends of the victims. This is no doubt very difficult for everyone involved. And on behalf of every Western Australian, I want you to know that you're in our thoughts and in our prayers. The tragedy unfolded in front of many tourists, including families with children, who were on the island enjoying the summer holidays, and may have been distressing for those who witnessed the event. You'll understand details are still emerging, but here is what I'm advised. The seaplane had 7 people on board, 6 passengers and the pilot, when it attempted to take off from Thompson Bay on the western side of Rottnest Island around 4 p.m. yesterday. Moments later, witnesses report seeing the plane crash into the water. Initial reports include claims that the plane came into contact with Phillip Rock, which is at the entrance of Thompson Bay. Those early reports are not confirmed after viewing some of the video footage available. However, this will now all form part of the investigation. At this early stage, what caused the crash remains unknown, but the Police Commissioner will be able to take your questions shortly. Officers from the Australian Transport Safety Bureau will arrive in Perth today to lead the investigation. They will be assisted by officers from the WA Police Force. An exclusion zone is in force at Thompson Bay, where efforts are underway to remove the wreck from the water. Every Western Australian knows that Rottnest is our premier tourism destination. For something so tragic to happen in front of so many people, at a place that provides so much joy, especially at this time of the year, is deeply upsetting. I want to formally acknowledge all members of the public on several private vessels that were in the area and acted immediately to help. They put their own safety at risk to help complete strangers who were in desperate need. That took courage. That took bravery, especially given what was a very distressing situation. I want to thank those Western Australians. They responded with true Western Australian spirit, and their efforts undoubtedly saved lives. I also want to thank our first responders for their heroic efforts. These include Rottnest Island Rangers, Water Police, the RAC Rottnest Island Nursing Post, as well as the Department of Fire and Emergency Services, RFDS, and St John's Ambulance. Again, thank you to all involved. It's important investigators are now given the time to properly find answers to what happened. I understand the Australian Transport Safety Bureau is scheduled to hold a media conference later this afternoon to give an update on their investigation, and I'll answer any questions that you may have later. But for the moment, here's the Police Commissioner.
Thank you, Premier. At 4 p.m. yesterday, police received several 000 calls from members of the public in relation to a seaplane crashing into the water in Thompson Bay and Rottnest Island. An immediate, large-scale response was executed by multiple emergency services agencies. But importantly, members of the public who were already present immediately jumped into action and saved lives. And I do want to personally, on behalf of WA Police and all emergency services, thank those who were present for helping fellow West Australians and others in need. We have now moved into the investigation phase. The WA Police will be operating under the Coroner's Act authority, and we will be assisting the Australian Transport Safety Bureau in their investigation on the cause of this crash. Tragically, we have lost 3 lives. We understand of the 7 passengers, 3 were couples and the pilot. 3 of those people are recovering in hospital, ranging from very minor injuries to a very serious hand injury. We are working with all of those survivors to understand what their observations were of the crash, but police are calling for all witnesses and all video footage that may have been obtained of the crash beforehand or after to call Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000 or 131 444. Please contact the police. You can provide your video to us electronically, and we can also offer support services for you if you contact police immediately. As the Premier has said, this is a tragedy for West Australians. It's a tragedy for the families involved. We understand one of the couples was a Swiss foreign national. We have contacted the consular office for them. Another couple were Danish nationals. We have also contacted the consular office for them. The other couple were believed to be West Australians, and the pilot was also a West Australian. I'm happy to take any questions.
Can you provide details of the survivors, the ages and the gender?
A male Swiss national, 63 years old, is a survivor. A male, 63 years old, is also West Australian, is a survivor. A female, 65 years old, is a survivor from West Australia. And a 58-year-old Danish national is also a survivor.
She was a female?
Female, sorry.
You're conducting an investigation and the ATSB are conducting. Are there any other investigations that need to be underway? No,
so WA Police will conduct an investigation on behalf of the coroner, so under the Coroner's Act. We will conduct an investigation because there has been deaths in WA, but the ATSB will do the investigation into the cause of the crash. Now, if we need additional support, we will seek that, but we are the 2 investigating authorities, but it is led, the cause of the crash is led by the Australian Transport Safety Bureau.
And can you take us through the scale of the police operation last night? How many officers were called?
Look, there was a massive response last night, not just police, as the Premier has already outlined. Numerous services responded, but certainly we already had water police on the water. The Rottnest Rangers had their own boat out. We had air wing up. So there was numerous aircraft, numerous police. We had tens and tens of police. There was probably about 60 police all up responding. We even sent the chaplain out to support members of the public and the emergency services who responded. It was a large-scale response operation. Now, it is ongoing. As I said, the investigation is ongoing. There is large parts of the aircraft still submerged. There is an exclusion zone around that area, a 200-metre exclusion zone, whilst police and ATSB conduct those investigations and we recover the remaining parts of the aircraft.
Can you just talk maybe about the danger and the difficulty associated with the recovery by the police divers?
Look, last night from about 6:30 p.m, water police divers entered the water. We believe it to be about 8 metres of depth to recover the remaining 3 people in the aircraft. Very difficult and dangerous operation for those divers, but important certainly for the families to bring the investigation to the next step.
What time were those bodies recovered?
Look, we started about 6:30, but it went through the night as an operation. I don't have exact timings.
Have you spoken to the owner of the aircraft? What have they had to say? Do we know any more about the pilot? Was he experienced?
This happened less than 24 hours ago. There is a significant, thorough, detailed investigation. Again, that involves the Australian Transport Safety Bureau, who are sending someone over from Canberra as well as their local representatives here. It is way too early to understand any of those details.
Have you spoken with the owner of the airplane?
Today, the parts of the plane that are still underwater?
Certainly, as part of our rescue and recovery operation, we will be speaking with engineers and capacity to get it out of the water. We don't know how complicated that will be. We'll certainly establish that today, so I can't give you a time frame on when we'll get it out.
Sorry, just on Cassidy's question, have you spoken with the owner of the airplane in the course of your investigation?
Look, I haven't been briefed on that. That doesn't mean they haven't, but I just don't have those details, given we're so soon into the investigation.
The ATSB will obviously try and establish the cause of the accident, but that plane, I think, has got a rotation speed of 90 knots and a climb-out speed of 105. Flight radar shows it crashed at about 63 knots. Are you in possession of any information that might indicate why a pilot would need to, or feel the need to prematurely try and lift off?
If I can be very clear on the investigation of WA Police, it's about the death of people and how they died. The ATSB will look at all those parts of the investigation. We are not aircraft experts or pilots, as ATSB are, and they will provide that information. So we're not in possession of that information right now.
Will the exclusion zone stay in place until the remainder of the aircraft is taken out?
Absolutely. And we've broadcast that out via marine radio, that no person is to go into that area and crowd that area, and we've also got Department of Transport assisting us with that, and the Rottnest Rangers.
That recovery effort from the aircraft, is that being hampered by the fuselage being lodged within the seabed? Is it quite stuck?
Look, it's a complex operation. It's achievable, and certainly we've got very good capability here in Western Australia to achieve the outcome, but it will just take thorough planning and safety.
Did these three couples know each other and they're from different?
Yeah, we don't have that information yet.
Do you have any more information on how the civilian vessels assisted? Did they pull anybody out of the water?
Look, it's again very early stages, and it may change, but we do understand certainly civilian vessels were involved in rescuing people and bringing them back to the nursing post to get immediate first aid. So again, I just want to reinforce my thanks to everyone who was present, and probably holidaying and enjoying the time of their life, as many West Australians do on Rottnest Island, and immediately jumped into action to support emergency services in saving lives, and I really do commend their actions.
Do you have any updates on those who are in hospital, how they're doing?
Look, as I said, we're ranging from minor injuries to superficial injuries to a very serious hand injury. I don't have a current update other than to say none of those are life-threatening.
Do you know which hospitals they're in?
I believe Fiona Stanley and Royal Perth Hospital were the two hospitals.
And just, I know again it's an ATSB issue, but are you aware that that area was authorised for the operation of this type of aircraft?
That's my understanding, but I can't confirm that today.
Yeah.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other questions?
Premier, this company that runs the aircraft has quite close links to the government. It's used heavily in tourism marketing, and one of the directors is a tourism commissioner. Do you have questions for the company this morning?
Not at this stage. Look, this is very early stages in relation to this this incident. It's a very distressing incident, and obviously we are just looking for the ATSB and the police to undertake their investigations. We'll obviously have an opportunity to reflect on this. Can I take the opportunity just once again to thank members of the Western Australian public who were on hand to assist the survivors in this particular circumstance. And in particular, can I also just commend all the emergency services workers that did so well to respond to the emergency in such a fast period of time.
Have you or anyone in the government spoken with Chrissy Bailey?
No. As I said, this is very early days. We continue to be advised by the police in terms of their early investigation. And obviously we'll have an opportunity to be briefed by the Department of Transport, by the Rottnest Island Authority, and in relation to any issues associated with this event.
If my numbers are right, last year there was 20 light aircraft crashes. Is there like a bigger issue here, concern around the safety of these or the training behind being a pilot?
Well, ultimately, that's a question for CASA and other federal aviation agencies. We obviously have a role to play as the managers of the Rottnest Island, as managers of the Rottnest Island Authority, and via the Department of Transport and the Swan River Trust in relation to this particular aviation activity. But we are advised by the federal authorities in relation to any aviation logistical issues. Thank you very much, everyone.